Well, I guess it's finally time for me to break my silence on Black Ops 7, right? Following the reveal last Tuesday, and shall I say more importantly, the Black Ops 7 direct video that was uploaded to YouTube straight after the kind of segment at Gamescom, which I don't even know why they did that segment at Gamescom. It just seemed completely pointless. I was actually going to stream it, and I'm really glad that I didn't, right? Because that just seemed like a waste of time to me. And the Black Ops 7 Direct was the main area where we found out a little bit more about the game, right? But right now we still don't know much. But what we do know, and it was very easily predictable, there was an overwhelming amount of negativity and hate online towards Black Ops 7 over the last sort of week or so. And you know, when it comes to hating Call of Duty these days, I do feel like you have to read between the lines a little bit, because there are some people out there that are just going to hate no matter what happens. And then there's a lot of people that just are fed up with the way the Call of Duty community has been treated right over the last 4 or 5 years. The lack of transparency, the lack of connection with the community, right? Just feels like they're not really listening to us at any point. But there are people that still want the game to be good, right? And it's just a frustration thing. So I think today I just want to talk a little bit about, you know, Black Ops 7. We don't know too much at the moment, right? It's a lot of speculation until COD Next, September the 30th, and the beta that follows that. You know, it's going to be really hard until we get hands-on with the game to kind of see how it feels and see how it plays. But I still wanted to kind of, you know, share my thoughts. And I think as well, just on the kind of talking about the negativity, you know, there's a lot of people out there saying they're going to be buying Battlefield, they're going to be playing Battlefield. And fair play to those people, right? If you can hop over to Battlefield from Call of Duty and have a good time, fair play to you. But for me, like, I just want Call of Duty to be good, right? There's nothing that comes close to a decent COD game, in my opinion. And, you know, I just feel like I really want them to get it right. So I think firstly, let's talk about some of the negatives, right? I think coming out Tuesday, the fact that there's going to be carryover from Black Ops 6 into Black Ops 7 just completely killed any kind of hype I had for this game, right? You know, I already felt like I was, you know, already kind of not really expecting much, right? I went in with very low expectations, but they really need to rethink carrying things over from Black Ops 6, right? I think from the start of Season 1, everything's going to come across. They did say with exceptions, but I don't really know what that means at the moment. But if I see Beavis and Butthead, you know, the Turtles, American Dad skins running around the map in Season 1, it's just going to completely kill the vibe of the game, right? It's going to kill the 2035 setting. And I kind of got to the point with Black Ops 6 where I was like, right, they've just kind of they've just dropped the ball with it. They're just letting anything go at this point. And now they're thinking of carrying it over to Black Ops 7. It's just absolutely brain dead decision, right? And I really do hope that's something that they reconsider. It also kind of makes me chuckle how in the Black Ops 7 Direct they introduced us to all of the operators, which of course was part of the campaign part. But then you know that from Season 1 they're just going to chuck in a load of rubbish anyway. So I don't know why they keep doing this. You know, I don't think anyone even minds skins. Just, you know, dial it down, right? You know, we've just gone so far on Black Ops 6. It just, honestly, it blows my mind. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much about that. You know, that kind of relates a lot more to Black Ops 6, but I just think it's ridiculous. Also, there's a score streak apparently that they're adding to the game called the Gravemaker or something, which allows you to shoot players through walls, which again, to me, just sounds like a really brain dead decision, right? You know, honesty just seems like absolutely stupid. And they were just kind of the big negatives that I took from the very small things we found out on Tuesday. So now I want to talk a little bit more positively, right? You know, I generally tend to try and be more upbeat on this channel where I can, but I feel like I have to be honest at the same time. You know, there's nothing for me to gain from lying. So there's going to be global progression across campaign, multiplayer, and zombies for the first ever time. I think that's a W, right? You know, why penalize people for playing certain game modes? I just hope that they get the XP balance right, because sometimes, you know, you can't get it perfect, but sometimes it can be better to play one game mode rather than another, or you progress a lot faster. So hopefully that's something they can get on top of. The game looks incredible from a graphics perspective, you know, from a colors perspective. I feel like Black Ops 6, we always knew that the color palette of the game wasn't great. It really felt like there wasn't a huge amount of effort that went into the maps. So I think that you can already tell with Black Ops 7, it feels like they've done a much better job there. And this is where it kind of brings me back to that stupid carryover from Black Ops 6. Why create this game that looks beautiful and looks amazing if you're just going to bring over the absolutely dumb skins from Black Ops 6, right? So that again kind of brings that together, and is another reason why I feel so passionate about not bringing over Black Ops 6 skins specifically. On release, there's going to be 30 new weapons, of which 16 of them are new to the franchise. And again, the weapons looked really good in the trailer and in the sort of clips that they showed, right? And there were some pretty cool ones like the M8 returning and the Peacekeeper, right? So some pretty cool guns there from Black Ops 2. Apparently, there's going to be a huge selection of score streaks. I think they took a lot of inspiration on this game from Black Ops 2, so hopefully the score streaks are going to be quite powerful. But again, that score streak I mentioned earlier where you can shoot people through walls, get that out, right? That's dumb. Get that out. I don't need to be seeing any of that in there. Omni movement returns, although apparently they have toned it down a little bit this year. I think the movement in Black Ops 6 was pretty fast, so hopefully in Black Ops 7 it's a little bit slower. You are going to be able to wall bounce this year, which is something new. It didn't look too crazy in the videos though, so I mean, it would be one of those things until you get hands on with it. I don't really know how that's going to work, but it didn't look too insane. I think it's a pretty cool thing for them to add in. And they've removed tactical sprint as the default movement. Thank the Lord they finally did it, right? You know, in Black Ops 6 we had to use a perk for it. This year they've removed it, but then they've added a perk where if you want to use tac sprint, which to me is just really stupid. Why are they not just, you know, taking it out is good, right? I'm not going to try and moan too much, but why have they added a perk if you want to use tac sprint? I just feel like just have one or the other. Why do we keep wasting perks on stupid things like that just shouldn't be in the game? Talking to the perks, it does worry me a bit because you have to use a perk to ADS when sliding, to ADS when diving or wall jumping. You have to use a perk to loop streaks, and this just kind of brings me back a little bit to Black Ops 6, where I got frustrated with the Black Ops 6 perks where you had to use specific perks to even stand a chance of getting score streaks. This year it feels like looping streaks should just be default. What you know, and I will meet them halfway to have it as a perk, but again, it just seems like a bit of a waste to me. Why are we wasting perks on things that should just be there? And using the perk to ADS when sliding, is everyone not just going to be using that? That feels like a perk you have to use to be able to compete. I could be wrong, maybe it'll be different when the game comes out, but that just feels like a perk that you have to use, right? As I say, the maps look insane. Again, I think, as I said earlier, they took inspiration from Black Ops 2. We've got Raid coming back, we've got Hijacked coming back, we've got Express coming back. There's 13 other 6v6 maps that are going to be there on release. Until we actually get to play them, have they made some good maps? Surely they've made some good maps, right? After the absolute atrocious maps that they put in Black Ops 6, surely they've given us some good maps, right? But only time will tell on that one. But again, when they say 16 6v6 maps, are they decent sized 6v6 maps as well? Because I hate it when they include face-off 6v6 maps and go, yeah, that's a 6v6 map, because it's not really, right? Face-off 6v6 is completely different. So I'm hoping that they're going to be 16 decent 6v6 sized maps. But at least from a competitive standpoint, we've got Raid, we've got Express, so we should have a half decent year from a competitive standpoint. And obviously Specialists are also returning, but again, we don't know an awful lot about that at the moment. Of course, Active Camo is going to be there, but again, I think the Specialists, until we see the whole sort of list of them and how they're actually going to play out in the game, it's really hard to kind of make a kind of decision on how that's going to play out. 20v20 skirmish mode apparently has been added. I'm just going to be completely honest, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that, so each to their own. I will also just quickly touch on the fact that there was hardly anything at all said about Warzone. I'm not a Warzone player, so I don't really care, but from a Warzone perspective, I thought that was a bit of a letdown, right? I think that a lot of the people from the Warzone community came away from Tuesday feeling, you know, pretty downbeat, right? Because what is there for them to look forward to at the moment? You're going to be able to share weapon builds in Black Ops 7, which is a W. I'm pretty sure you can send it to friends, and apparently there's like a code or something so you can copy other people's classes, which I think is a pretty cool thing to add, right? You know, I think class setups have at times in the last few years got a little bit complex, and you know, when you're in a lobby with your friends and you're shouting out classes to each other, it'll be a lot easier to just send them to each other. So I think that's a good thing. Prestige returns, I believe, as it was in Black Ops 6. I guess there'll be Prestige Master. I don't really know. I haven't read too much up on that, because they were talking a lot about weapon prestige, which, I mean, I don't mind weapon prestige returning, but it sounds like they've put a lot of emphasis on the weapon prestige this year, and I think you can become like a prestige master on a specific weapon. I'm just hoping that the camos you can unlock are worth prestige in the weapon, right? So only time will tell on that one, but hopefully there's actually some decent rewards for grinding a specific weapon. And I believe there's going to be weekly challenges as well, very similar to what we had in Modern Warfare 3. And of course, you know, Modern Warfare 3 is a game that got a lot of praise for how it was handled in terms of weekly challenges, in terms of post-launch content. So let's hope this is a sign that we're going to have a similar kind of thing here with Black Ops 7, because the post-launch content on Black Ops 6 was dreadful. The HUD and the UI seems very, very decent. Don't get me wrong, it seems pretty similar to Black Ops 6, but just kind of freshened up a little bit, which is, you know, absolutely fine. It does look like it's going to be EKIA again. I'm not a big fan of that. I'd prefer kills and assists, but it's not something that I'm going to cry about too much. And that's kind of where I'm going to end it today, guys, if I'm going to be honest. Like I say, it's a lot of speculation at the moment. You know, that considering there was a 17-minute Black Ops 7 direct video, there wasn't a huge amount of information in that, because there was a bit about zombies, there was a bit about campaign. As I said, the Gamescom kind of segment was absolutely pointless. And, you know, look, I don't know where I stand with this game at the moment until I get hands-on with it. You know, I don't know. Like I say, I want Call of Duty to be successful, and I'm not too worried at the moment because of how other people feel, because, you know, I'm still going to be playing COD. But I am very concerned about the longevity of this game if they start throwing absolutely horrible things in there, like the Black Ops 6 skins. And apparently Activision, you know, came out or something and said that they understand the cosmetics and kind of, you know, what Call of Duty looks like and how important it is to the players, you know, to have some kind of realism. But apparently that's something they're looking at for the future. So I don't know if maybe it's too late for Black Ops 7, but I just feel like, looking at how good Black Ops 7 looks graphically, how disappointing is it going to be if they throw Beavis and Butthead and all those skins in? I'm just praying that someone, you know, uses their brain and does not do that, right? But we know skill-based matchmaking is going to be there. You know, we know skins are going to be there, as I say, but let's hope they're not completely terrible. And, you know, what will the anti-cheat look like? And what will the post-launch content look like? I think they're the most important things. And like I say, you know, until we get hands-on the players, it's very hard to make a decision. So yeah, that's kind of where we're going to end it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Of course, please let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Very, very interesting time for Call of Duty right now. But yeah, well, that leaves me to say, I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.